Jonah, a prophet with a penchant for avoiding divine commands, found himself fleeing God's instruction to preach repentance in Nineveh. He reasoned that a sea voyage to Tarshish, a distant land, would offer a perfect hiding place. The bustling city marketplace, a whirlwind of activity and shouting vendors, provided the perfect cover for his escape. He slipped through the crowd, a shadow among the many, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and rebellious glee. Securing a hooded cloak, he disguised himself, blending into the anonymity of the urban landscape. His eyes landed on a ship at the docks, a vessel promising freedom and distance from his divine duty. With a burst of speed, he reached the ship, tossing coins at the ship captain, a man whose gaze held a hint of suspicion. "Running from something or someone?" the captain asked, his voice laced with curiosity. Jonah responded with a nervous laugh, masking his true intentions. "Haha, new. Just a casual, totally normal getaway," he chuckled, forcing a carefree tone. The ship set sail, carrying Jonah away from the city, and, he hoped, from God's reach. Leaning against the railing, a sense of relief washed over him. "See? Easy," he smirked. "No smiting, no fire from the sky, just smooth sailing." His words were cut short by a sudden, violent storm. The sky darkened, thunder roared, and the sea churned into a furious tempest. The boat tossed and turned, the carefree illusion shattering against the harsh reality of the storm. Panic replaced his smugness. "I spoke too soon," he muttered, the fear in his voice palpable as the waves threatened to consume him. The storm raged, a powerful manifestation of God's displeasure. Jonah's escape had failed. His defiance met with the full force of divine retribution. The ship, once a vessel of freedom, was now a cage, tossed about mercilessly by the wrath of the sea. His ill-conceived plan had backfired spectacularly, leaving him at the mercy of the elements and the very God he tried to evade. The voyage to Tarshish, intended as a path to escape, had become an unexpected journey of reckoning. However, had other plans. A furious storm, whipped up by God's displeasure, tossed the ship violently. Terrified sailors, desperate to appease the tempest, cast lots to determine the cause. The lot fell upon Jonah. Confessing his defiance, he urged them to throw him overboard, believing that his presence was the source of their trouble. Reluctantly, they obeyed, and Jonah plunged into the churning waves. Instead of drowning, however, Jonah was swallowed by a massive whale, a creature of immense size and power. He found himself in the belly of the beast, surrounded by the strange, unsettling darkness and the disconcerting sounds of its internal workings. Days turned into what felt like an eternity, filled with the stench of decay and the gnawing feeling of regret. In the deep, dark silence, Jonah's bravado crumbled. He confronted his disobedience and the enormity of his actions. He prayed, a desperate plea for forgiveness and deliverance. He acknowledged God's power and his own insignificance. His pride, once a fortress, had become a prison, and his fear of Nineveh had been replaced by a greater fear, the fear of divine retribution. Then, surprisingly, the immense whale began to heave and thrash. The darkness was broken by a wave of churning water, before Jonah was violently expelled onto a sandy beach, soaked, disoriented, and smelling strongly of fish. He lay gasping for breath, the taste of seawater and something far less pleasant lingering in his mouth. He was alive, miraculously spared from the depths, but the experience had left an indelible mark. He arose, his clothes clinging to him, his body covered in a mixture of sand and something undeniably fishy. A passing fisherman, taking in Jonah's appearance, offered a succinct, if somewhat unkind, assessment. "You smell like sin and regret." Jonah, humbled by his ordeal, ignored the comment. He had learned a profound lesson. He could run from God's command, but he couldn't escape the consequences of his actions. He was ready to face Nineveh, not with bravado or fear, but with acceptance and a heavy heart. He began his journey towards Nineveh, the path to redemption now stretching before him. Press like, subscribe button to see more inspirational videos like this.